Hello, all. We are here to talk about one of the big changes in the CCA manual this year, and that is Section 2.1, our home run focus. So here it is in black and white. What we're going to try to do today is add some color to this for you. So starting off, Chris, talk to us about maybe an order of operations that we want to see from the plate umpire on these potential home run balls.
I mean, our first focus has to be the baseball. I mean, that's our first initial responsibility. It's what we have to focus on right from the start. So we have to have knowledge of a fair foul or any of those decisions even before we start to take a look at some of the other things that we're going to talk about. So it all really starts with the baseball. Once we've realized that either we don't have a fair foul decision or a catch no catch responsibility, then our focus, I think, has to shift to the batter's actions as they become the batter runner right around the home plate umpire and definitely up the first baseline as well. The catcher, the pitcher, their interactions with that batter, we should pay close attention to, actions or comments from the pitcher, what the catcher does right around the dirt circle area. And then once again, as the batter proceeds up the baseline, what, if any, interactions or comments, exist between the three of them. And then now the dugouts come into play as well here. Specifically, I think to start with the home dugout, what their reaction is, the distance in which maybe they're out in front of their dugouts, what they're saying, is there interactions or comments directed towards the other side, the opposing dugouts, and maybe comments that are directed back to them right after that home run. And then when we start talking about the touch of home, really it's just having an overall engagement with that batter runner all around the bases. And specifically, we talk about as they round and touch third base on their way home, what the catcher pitchers are doing, the dugouts, what they're saying, and as that batter runner touches home plate, what the interactions are. And then once they've touched home plate, now as they start to return to their dugout, what is their bench doing? What is the reaction of the batter heading in that direction? And how does that, interact with, once again, the other side as well? It's just really all those pieces of the puzzle here, but it's that progression of steps that I think we have to follow here as a plate umpire that really help us get to a big picture on all this stuff.
Excellent. So we are going to see something similar from our base umpire. This is not a time for us to take a play off. So Alex, take us through what we might see from a base umpire in a situation like that.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, I think a lot of what we're going to talk about here is similar to the plate umpire, but our base umpire is going to do it in a way that sees different angles and maybe from a different perspective. So obviously our base umpire has responsibilities for the baseball as well as base touches and anything that occurs as part of the initial play there. And once we realize that we've satisfied our responsibilities for the play, then in the same manner that the plate umpire does, our attention is going to focus to the batter runner. The fielder's reactions, of course, are very important. How are they reacting to anything that the batter or other runners are doing? We want to observe those and use those in our decision-making process. Besides the players on the field, we obviously want to see how both dugouts are reacting to both the home run and then the actions of the other players on the field. As the play concludes, obviously the batter runner has to return to the dugout. You may have other runners involved in this as well who have rounded the bases. We want to continue to make sure that we're seeing all of their actions from the time they leave the dirt circle all the way to the time they enter their dugout and reactions to those as well.
Perfect. And the point there really brings us into our next slide, which is